This is what you will find inside a Student Writing Intensive DVD pack.
There is a tips and tricks one to kind of help you get started, and then there's also some just more information. These, I believe, these are the lesson plans and the student handouts, so you can print off of the CD if you would like. And then there's also the DVDs, and they're all labeled, and it will tell you in the teacher's manual which CD or which DVD to watch and when. And so this particular one is my continuation course, and there are, it looks like 9 DVDs in here. And so you just pull out whichever one it tells you, and then there's also timestamps on the instructions, and it tells you where to start and where to stop your DVDs. So I just printed out my teacher's manual and then stuck it in this binder. And then of course it has a little bit of an introduction information. It also has kind of a scope and sequence, so you can kind of see like an overview of what you're going to be working on all year. And now for this one, for both of them, I actually spread out the lessons. So instead of doing it every single day, we did writing a couple times a week. And I'll show you how I kind of do that once we get into it a little bit more. But you can stretch one of these years out over the course of 2 years if you would like to, and that also kind of makes it a little bit more affordable. You certainly don't have to do it every day. And then back through here, they start having, here's your scope and sequence, and it kind of tells you lesson 1, here's the disc you need. Lesson 2, you don't need a disc. Here's, kind of the topics that you're going to be covering. Here's any resources that you need, and any references that you need. So it kind of outlines it all for you, which makes it really nice and easy. And it also kind of helps you see how many lessons there are if, for example, you want to stretch it out, longer, or do it, only a couple times a week versus every day, or however you want to do it. I think this program is really, really flexible, and you can kind of just make it work for you. Now I'll try and do a close-up of this. This is lesson 1, and here's your teacher's notes, and then this kind of just tells you about the lesson, and really what this does is kind of explains the lesson to you. However, if you're watching the DVD, this is all included in the DVD, so this is kind of just what your kids would be watching if you didn't sit and do the lesson, although I highly suggest that you do watch the DVD with them, because if they have any questions or anything like that, it makes it a lot easier for you to answer. Anything in this, like these boxes right here, are things that he is writing on his whiteboard, so if you would like to teach them yourself instead of watching the DVD, you could even do that and just read through the lesson, and then you would write this up on the whiteboard as you're teaching through the program. So that's kind of nice. Over here it tells you what disc you would need and stop and start points as you go, and it kind of tells you, pause here and do this, continue watching, whatever. So they really outline it really well. They kind of make it fairly easy, I think, for you to do. All right, so here's a little bit closer look at the lesson, and it's going to tell you to watch disc 1 of the Student Writing Intensive and then stop at the writing pause. And how he kind of works it out is he gives your student this handout, and so as you see here, there's sea snakes, and then there's some just some keywords written next to them. Your student will get this handout right here. So it's a story that's already written. This is lesson 1 of level A, so it's just one paragraph. It's not too intimidating, and he actually walks them through, and your students will do this as the video is playing, but he walks them through and shows them how to pull keywords out of each sentence and then write the outline from that. So for example, the first sentence is: the most poisonous snake in the world is not the coral snake or the death adder, it is the sea snake. All right, so from that sentence, he has the kids, and he kind of teaches it in a classroom, so I usually pause the video and let my kids come up with what keywords they think, but he has the ones that he pulls out in the video. So the words he pulled out were most poisonous in the world, and so those are just the words that he pulled out of that. Then he goes through the next sentence: marine scientists estimate the venom of a sea snake is 50 times more powerful than that of a king cobra. And then over here, they pulled out scientists, venom, 50 times, and cobra. And what he instructs your children to do is to pull out 3 to 4 keywords per sentence out of this entire story. So this is already written for them. They don't have to, come up with a topic or anything. Really what they're going to do is take the keywords out of each sentence, write them down on their own like little outline like this. Then they're going to get rid of the story, and they're going to turn around and rewrite the story using their keywords that they pulled out. So their story will be slightly different than the other story that they just read. In the beginning, this is, like I said, this is lesson 1, so this is very easy. He also gives them a composition checklist, and they have to make sure that these certain things are done. So they're doing a paragraph on sea snakes. It's due whenever you decide it's due. They need to check and make sure that they double space their writing. The which clause is underlined. A who which clause is, he explains in the video, and that's the first thing that they're going to be looking for to add to their writing, and that their name is on the paper. So those are the only three things that they really have to look at for lesson 1. So it's not very intimidating. It's pretty easy to get started. He explains what a who which clause is, so it's really easy for your kids to add that special, he calls these dress-ups, into their writing, and all they have to do is check that off. And as the teacher, all you have to do is make sure that they have all those things when they turn in their writing, and they get credit for that. So that's just lesson 1 of the level 1, but that's kind of how it goes. So for the first, at least level A anyways, they're doing quite a bit of that.